Okay, I wanted to do a Lakers thoughts video. Been a while since I did one. I have a few scattershot. As always, my videos tend to be very scattershot and unfocused. And I like to pat myself on the back a little. Yeah, my videos completely suck. I'll agree with that. But I always want to say that in my defense, I don't do any scripting. I've started thinking about trying to be a little more concise by writing out some points that I want to hit, but so far I don't even do that. And I don't do any editing, so that's a little bit in my defense. But yeah, I know my videos suck and I'm repetitive and so on and so forth. Anyways, getting to the topic here, the Lakers. And if you don't know, I'm a lifelong LeBron fanboy, so that's the only reason I'm a Lakers fan. Natively, I'm kind of a Celtics or a Mavericks fan. Mavericks because I live kind of in the area, and Celtics, and I also just like the Mavericks, and I like Luka, so forth. And Celtics just because when I was a kid, they were those great. Yeah, I'm that old. They were those great Bird and McHale teams, you know. And I always rooted for them over the Lakers. It's funny now I root for the Lakers. As I get older, I've discussed this probably in other videos especially, but you root more for people than uniforms, and I think that's completely legit. I think that's completely the right thing to do, you know. I mean, what matters is people, not a uniform, like the old Seinfeld bit that fans rip for laundry. Well, I don't want to be that guy that roots for laundry, you know. There's a Seinfeld bit where he talks about how they, like in a football team, they may love this player. He goes to the other team, puts on their jersey, they hate him. Oh, boo, they boo him. He's the worst. He's a bum. You know, so what are they really rooting for? The laundry. There is one laundry team I have, which is the Cowboys. I pretty much root for them no matter what. They're my team where I root for the laundry. But everybody else nowadays, I'm a LeBron fan, not necessarily an NBA team fan. But anyway, so let's get to the Lakers. I wanted to make a few points about them. What I feel like is first main one is that the media is seemingly really overly negative on Lakers. I don't know why, but I do know why, because the media is anti-LeBron. Most of them don't like LeBron, you know. Honestly, they'll never admit it, but you know, you have a lot of people that made their living on hating LeBron, like Skip Bayless, and then you have a lot of people like Rick Bucher that just never have liked him, you know, in the basketball media. Rob Parker, you know, you can go on down the list. There's a lot more of his haters than his supporters in the media. So yeah, but I wanted to. There's a lot of. I just wanted to just make that point first of all. There just seems to be a lot of negativity towards the Lakers. I don't quite get it because let's see, I pulled up a few pages here to talk about standings. You know, look at us. We're 30-7. You know, and nobody predicted this. Most people predicted the Clippers would have the best record. You know, people want to act now like, oh well, everybody knew the Lakers were going to have the best. No. You know, I follow the NBA very closely. I listen to all these podcasts, even in the off season. And plus, you know, I'm just a person, so I know reality. Like, yeah, there was a thought that the Lakers would be good. That I would say the thought was more that especially after what happened last season where they were so bad, nobody, honestly, in my opinion, could claim that they knew the Lakers were going to do this, you know? It just didn't happen that way. And, you know, like me, I thought, yeah, they'd probably be somewhere in the top 6, you know? But beyond that, I didn't know. You know, in the Western Conference, record-wise, in the regular season. You know, maybe 4th, at least, I figured. But you didn't know. A part of me, honestly, because I'm a strong... honestly, I'm a lot about coaches, and when the Lakers hired Vogel, that's when I really got optimistic about him. That was the best. While everybody else was crying and whining, I watched Ty Lue in Cleveland because I'm a LeBron fan, so I was a Cleveland fan when he was there. He might be the worst coach in the NBA. You know, Ty Lue is awful. Awful. Those Cleveland teams probably should have won a lot more titles, but thanks to Ty Lue, they didn't. You know, that's the way I look at it. And the one he won was a miracle, you know. But because he won that one by a miracle, he's, bulletproof now because he's a title-winning coach. No, not in my book, That's the story of LeBron's career. He's had bad coaching his whole career except for Spo, and he won 2 titles in 4 years with Spo, I always say, the people that always debate with LeBron are Kobe and people always debate versus LeBron or Kobe and MJ. Those 2 guys have had Phil Jackson their entire careers. If LeBron James had Phil Jackson as his coach his entire career, he'd have won 11 titles. I always say that, and people never talk about that when they talk about LeBron. The debates are slanted from the get-go. The LeBron versus nobody ever brings up the terrible coaching LeBron had. And coaching is a big deal. You see it all the time. Look at all these teams. Milwaukee, why are they doing this? Because Coach Bud is good. That doesn't mean the Milwaukee Bucks are going to win titles because I don't think they necessarily know that they have the talent. But so much of it is system, That's Coach Bud, Coach Spo, Coach Stevens, Coach Nick Nurse. To look at the top 4. You don't need any other evidence. Coaching in the NBA, I guess, is maybe not considered as big in the NFL, but it's huge. It's underrated. It's huge. But nobody talks about the fact that LeBron had Mike Brown, a horrible coach for like the first prime 6 years of his career in Cleveland. Then he had Spo. Then he had Ty Lue, who in my opinion is horrible. And he had Luke Walton for a year, who's pretty horrible. And now he has Vogel, who in my opinion is at least competent. You give LeBron a competent coach, and look what happens, So anyways, the point was I was pretty bullish on the Lakers once they hired Vogel. But still, nobody knew this was coming. Now, this revisionist history, a lot of these Lakers haters in the media that are kind of latent, they don't come out and say they're Lakers haters like a Bucher or somebody. Or even a Brian Windhorst, I honestly think is starting to be a hater, They all act like this was, we knew the Lakers would dominate. No, we didn't. Nobody knew that. Nobody was saying that. People thought the Clippers would be the best record, So it's all this revisionist, or I heard Denver, a lot of people thought would have the best regular season record. Not necessarily go far in the playoffs. Utah was another one I heard. They signed Conley, and they're a great regular season team. Those were the teams I heard for best record. Clippers, Utah, Denver. Not the Lakers. I can't really think of anybody who was saying the Lakers, But here they are, number 1 seed, 30-7. And now it's this revisionist history from they were expected to do this. No big deal. Don't give them any credit. We all knew this would happen in the regular season. No, you didn't. And no, nobody was saying it. So stop lying. Stop your revisionist history. So that's stage 1. They're not even getting any credit for being the 1 seed and being 30-7. It's just all this kind of whining and, we knew they were going to do that from all these haters. I'm just seeing this general negativity towards the Lakers. I don't understand it. Well, I do. Like I said, it's the anti-LeBron sentiment, but they weren't expected to be this dominant in the regular season. They weren't, and in the regular season, this is another hill I'll die on. Is way more important than everybody makes it out to be. It really is, and it always has been. How did we first know the Golden State Warriors were really good? They came on in the regular season and just shocked it. It was the regular season that first year that told you the Golden State was really dominant, The regular season does not get enough credit in the NBA. And even LeBron was the one guy who could kind of buck that trend, and not have great regular seasons thanks to Ty Lue, because Ty Lue is a terrible coach and he didn't have any discipline and the team just fell apart every regular season. But, kind of contrast that to what Vogel's doing with the Lakers this year. It's the opposite. He's got their nose to the grindstone. But, anyways, be that as it may. The point is LeBron could kind of turn it on. But even him, if you really look at those teams, they didn't really turn it on. First of all, they always had good stats every year. They were usually a top defensive team. And second of all, they were, I can't remember exactly, but the worst they ever did was the 2 seed in the East. The 2 seed, So, yeah, they made the finals as the 2 seed. It's not like they were coming up from the 6 seed, the 7 seed, the 8 seed, So all this team can just turn it on in the playoffs. It doesn't really happen that way, It just doesn't. So yeah, and that's another hill I'll die on, is that the regular season is always a lot more important than NBA people make it out to be. Of course, you win or lose in the playoffs, but the regular season tells you what's going on, and it tells you who should be the favorite. Even the fact Milwaukee lost in the playoffs last year, that was an upset in my opinion. You know why I know it was an upset? Because look what they did in the regular season, and they almost beat Toronto. So, anyways, so what? I guess I need to. I'm already at the 10-minute mark, so what else do I need to talk about here? Oh, yeah, the points I want to make. So I don't understand this negativity about the Lakers. And the main point I wanted to hit is the main reason people seem to be negative on them is that they've lost 2 regular season games to the Clippers. Okay? 2 high-profile regular season games to the Clippers they've lost. So that seems to really give the people who don't take them serious, the haters, a lot of ammunition. Like, oh, well, we see when the chips are down, what happens. The Clippers are deeper. The Clippers are defensively strong. The Clippers, I heard Rick Bucher in particular making this point, just acting like because the Clippers beat him in the regular season, it's just like the Clippers are mountains above the Lakers, that it's not even a contest. I'm thinking like, what? What? All right, first of all, I'm a big believer in chance in sports. People want to ascribe everything to some sort of the better team won or the more gutty team won. A lot of it is just, and nobody ever talks about this in sports media. A lot of it is just how the ball bounces. It's just accidents. It's just luck. Like I said, the Milwaukee Bucs were probably the best team in the NBA last year. The ball didn't bounce their way and they lost to Toronto. Probably, you don't know because you never, you're not God. You don't know. But most likely that's what happened, So, and then you can go and say, well, they didn't win because Giannis didn't this and because they're not built for the postseason. And you make up all these reasons. But in reality, it's probably just the ball didn't bounce their way. And if you think about it logically, that makes sense, because these games are close within a few percent. Like if one team beats another 108 to 100, what is that? They beat them by 8%, kind of. That's a very slim margin. And it's not even really 8% because the total points scored in the game was 208. So it's like 4%, 4% of the total points scored was the difference, And so that's like, anyways, the point is that it's less so in basketball than other sports. But I was reading another stat that in the NFL, of the 8 teams that are remaining, 1 was still remaining in the final 8 last year. So 7 of the final 8 are new in the NFL this year. It's much worse than much more chance and oriented in other sports. Basketball is the one sport where talent really, and that's why I love basketball. It's the one sport where talent really does matter more than other sports. But even basketball, a lot of it's luck, and the Houston Rockets are another good example. They should probably have a couple titles. They just got unlucky, I'm sorry, I don't sit there and look at it as some moral failing of them or something. They just got unlucky, They should have beat Golden State, I think it was, that one year, or was it, Oklahoma City should have. Anyways, to my mind, the Rockets just were in title contention, and they got unlucky. But anyways, so my point is, in all the, like Rick Bucher really puts a lot on these Clippers wins over the Lakers. But, okay, first of all, aren't you being hypocritical? Because what's the conventional wisdom in the NBA? Regular season doesn't matter. Who cares about the regular season? But now you're saying 2 regular season games where the Clippers beat the Lakers, they matter. On your face, you're being hypocritical if you say that. Because nobody in the NBA media will sit there and tell you, oh, the regular season's extremely important. I'm the guy saying the regular season's more important than people give it credit for. But everybody else doesn't, So I don't understand how the general attitude in NBA and the NBA media is the regular season, no big deal, whatever, So if that's the case, how can you then ascribe all this importance to the Clippers beating the Lakers twice so far in the regular season? It's hypocritical. That's my point 1. It's stupid. The second point about that is, the Clippers and the Bucs have played once this year. What happened in that game? Oh, the Bucs won. And not only did they win, they blew them out. They won by like 28 points. And I think they were leading by like 40 or something at one point in the game. They destroyed and I believe the Clippers had both Kawhi and Paul George in that game, so you can't, use that excuse. So, Rick Bucher and all these people, are you going to then say that Milwaukee is by far the heavy favorite based on a regular season game? No, you're not, You're going to, because you're a LeBron hater and the Clippers and Kawhi are set up as the anti-LeBrons. The Buchers of the world favor the Clippers. So they're not going to say that, the Bucs are really the favorites, not the Clippers, based on a regular season game. But what happened in the regular season? They blew out the Clips. So again, it's the hypocrisy. They're going to say, well, the regular season games with the Clippers and Lakers matter, but the regular season game with the Bucs and Clippers doesn't matter. It's on its face hypocrisy and stupidity. And they could probably come up with some reason. Well, the Clippers and Lakers, they really cared about so you're telling me the Clippers didn't care in Milwaukee? Okay, you can say that. There's no way to disprove that, and it's just stupid, Okay, so why didn't the Clippers care, Or, and here's another thing. They'll do this every season. Another excuse I'm going to be sure for the Clippers is, well, they don't care. They're going to turn it on in the playoffs. Well, first of all, like I said, historically, that doesn't happen. And second of all, it's hard to, you can't prove it wrong until the playoffs. Like the Clippers backers can say all year, because you can't prove it wrong. You can't say, well, they're going to be in trouble when you get to the playoffs. Well, they'll say, no, we're going to win when we get to the playoffs. Okay, we have to wait till the playoffs and see. So it's an easy thing to say that it's not disprovable. It's like climate change. Climate change supporters will say every weather event that happens is because of climate change. So, but then if you try to say, well, dang, it sure was cold this weekend, what's going on? Well, that's a weather anecdote. That doesn't matter. Same type of hypocrisy. And so when climate change people say, like, if it's cold, it's because of climate change. If it's hot, it's also because of climate change. You know what they're doing? They're making a non-disprovable hypothesis. Like, no matter what happens, you can't disprove climate change. And that's just, and that is anti-science, because science is all about being disprovable. It's not science if it's not disprovable. Climate change, they try to make it non-disprovable. And it's the same way with the NBA. It's not disprovable to say the Clippers are going to turn on the playoffs till the playoffs get here, and they probably lose in the second round, which I think is probably what's more likely to happen. So okay, they can have that argument. Like I said, it's kind of hard to disprove, but just historically, it doesn't happen that way. And the Clippers were booed on their home floor for giving up 140 to Memphis recently. There's problems there. Rick Bucher might not want to admit it because he's an anti-LeBron, but yeah, to me, the problem with the Clippers, I said this all along, is Doc Rivers. Everybody said that's their big edge over the Lakers. Well, it's the reverse. Vogel's a much better coach than Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is never going to have his team humming along to maximum efficiency, as we see with these Clippers. I saw an article the other day where he's giving the playbook to Pat Beverly, and he's letting Pat Beverly run the offense. Okay, that might sound good in theory, but they suck right now. They got blown out by Memphis and booed on their home floor, and then they barely beat the Knicks by 3 points and gave up 132 to the Knicks. So I'm going to suggest that probably turning your control of your team over to the players rather than probably the smarter coaching staff probably isn't a good idea. All I know is probably what Doc Rivers does is probably not smart. The Clippers are not well run. They're not well coached. I think they've got more talent for sure than the Lakers. Top to bottom, yes. So that's what I'm worried about. Is I do think they have more talent. Obviously, the Lakers basically have AD and LeBron, and then a lot of parts they hope are good. But the Alex Caruso's of the world, you kind of have this sinking feeling in your stomach that I don't know. Can Alex Caruso? If you hang on a second, I have to get something. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Proof I don't edit. Yeah, you're looking at guys like Caruso, KCP. You want them to be good, and when the Lakers are rolling in the regular season, Rondo, you try to convince yourself they're good, but you kind of always have this sinking feeling like, I don't know, I saw a great tweet by Nate Silver, who I really like, and about the Lakers when they were in the midst of their 4-game losing streak, I guess. He said the problem with the Lakers is they only have 3 guys that you trust at the end of the game on the floor, to be on the floor at the end of the game. AD, LeBron, and Danny Green, And that's kind of that's where he left the thought. And that's, it's so true, and I thought it was a great and concise thought. But, so yeah, that's my thoughts. Is like, I don't understand why the media is overrating the Clippers' regular season wins so much when they don't do the same when the Bucs crush the Clippers, And another thing about those games, they were both close. The first one, they were 85-85 going into the fourth. And the second one, the Lakers had like a 13-point lead with 6-something left or something like that. So, come on. The second one was just, the Clippers got lucky to win that one, But I understand that the people, until the Lakers beat the Clippers in the regular season, the people who think that are going to have that, okay. Which they do play again on the 28th, and then I think on March 8th. Not that I've circled them or anything. Just kidding. But I would like to, to me, I don't believe that the regular season losses to the Clippers matter that much. I believe the regular season matters, just not the losses to it's a small sample size. You could probably turn it back on me and say, oh, you're saying the regular season is important, but you're saying that regular season losses to the Clippers don't matter. Yeah, because it's a 2-game sample size, Like pure statistics, it just, a 2-game sample size, So I personally, if they go 0-4 against the Clippers, it won't mean anything to me, But the media, what I don't like is how the media uses it. So I would really like them to beat the Clippers for that reason. So we can put an end to this media narrative that the Lakers have no chance against the Clippers, Nonsense. So what do I think going forward? Another topic I wanted to touch on real quick is, boy, that trade is scaring me right now. Even at the time I was conflicted, the AD trade, because you're talking about Brandon Ingram is really doing good for the Pelicans right now. And Lonzo Ball lately, too. Now, I don't believe in Lonzo Ball because he's not a good shooter, He's not a good shooter. He's never going to be a good shooter. There's lots of evidence shooting is genetic, If you're not once not a good shooter, always not a good shooter. So Lonzo Ball is probably never going to be a great shooter. So I have my concerns about Lonzo Ball. Maybe as a great passer and a great defender, he can make a place for himself. But I always come back to the fact he can't shoot, So I have my deep questions about Ball ever becoming great, despite his recent hot streak. But if he does, that's even more of a blow. But Ingram's already been great. And he hasn't, part of me already says, like, wow, would you take back, if you had LeBron, Ingram, Kuzma, Hart, Ball, would this team be that much? Would they be deeper? We don't have a lot of depth right now. And you had a full offseason to go get guys like Danny Green. Part of the problem this offseason is they thought Kawhi was coming, Kawhi, whatever. So they put everything on hold. I mean, I guess that wouldn't have changed either way. And here's the thing. You could have maybe got AD as a free agent anyway, It's risky. I don't know what I would do, I don't know. And you risk something like AD going to Boston, in which they might be title favorites, and they might, win the title. I don't know. It's so hard. But we gave up such a price for AD that I still question it. Part of me says, like, would we be better off with Ingram, Ball, all that depth? LeBron. Is Ingram that much worse than AD right now? Yes, he's not as good a player as AD, but is he that much worse? And I think there's a lot to be said for having a team where, like, everything's defined. Like, LeBron's the top dog. Everybody else is secondary. I love that about the Bucs, for example. Giannis is the guy. Now, LeBron and AD have worked out great, partly due to AD's, like, mild personality. He's not like Kyrie. So it's not really a problem with the Lakers, but I do like teams where it's like, you've got like you would have LeBron and all these kids, who's the big dog, all that stuff. I think that would really work well with Ingram, Ball, and those guys, and LeBron. You don't have to worry who's the star. You don't have to worry about that. I think there's a lot to be said for even the Clippers. You could say that with them. You get George and Kawhi on the same team. It's not really working out that great for them. You still have this kind of, would they be better off if you just dropped Kawhi on the same team they had last year? Maybe, So I don't know, but here's the thing. You can't answer this question until this season plays out. If AD and LeBron go win a title this year, then the trade was a success. But if we don't, it's very arguably a failure and it wouldn't have been a failure if like Ingram and Ball had flopped. But Ingram is really coming on. He is good, and that's scary. So if after this year Ingram and Ball continue to develop and we don't win the title, LeBron doesn't win the title, and then you could have clearly said it was a mistake because the Lakers could have had Ingram, Ball, LeBron, all those guys, and signed AD anyway. That was the risk all along, Now, like I said, I don't know. My thing is being a LeBron fan. I want to maximize every window of LeBron to win the title. So. I don't know. It's so hard to just call that. I don't know what the right move was. The Lakers as they're constituted now are so top heavy. You've got LeBron, AD, and nothing. In a way. It's just a tough situation there. I don't know what the right move was, and it's going to be hard to judge until we see whether we win a title this year or not. But they put themselves in position. And I want to talk a little about that too. To me, there's three teams that I really, as a LeBron stan, worry about, or think are good enough to win the title. The Lakers, the Clippers, and the Bucs, And I think that, I think that's a great position for the Lakers. It's another thing people aren't giving them credit for. A lot of people seem to think that, Windhorst is a guy like this. As currently constituted, Lakers are not in good shape. They're not going to win it. He kind of takes a negative tack like that. But I'm looking at it like they're in the top three at least. I don't think any reasonable person would say they're not in the top three for a title right now. So if you're in the top three, it's already almost a coin flip, a 33% chance you win. You kind of already have won that argument, You can't say the Lakers are not in the top three for a title, so how can you in any way say they're not, you can't do like Brian Windhorst and say, well, they don't have the depth to win a title or whatever. You don't know that, They're in the top three right now, so in a way they've already proved you wrong, But we'll see. I'm getting a little more, the Bucs really scared me for a while. Their point differential was up at 13. And they won all those games in a row. And, they were really... But they've come down to earth a little later. You see their point differential is now only plus 11.8. They lost the other day. I'm starting to think... I think we can still beat them in the playoffs if we meet them in the finals. So, for whatever reason, my opinion of the Bucs has come down in the last couple of weeks quite a bit. And that makes me a lot more heartened about the Lakers' chances. And Giannis can't shoot free throws, that's always a thing. And to me, they're kind of a team that they don't have that star power. They're still a little bit of a system team. They're better than all these other system teams, but like the Celtics, I look at that way. Celtics to me are a system team. They don't have the raw individual. They don't have a LeBron, The Heat, pretty much the same. The Raptors, same. I know they have Siakam, but the 76ers are the one exception. They are loaded with, franchise-defining talent. Embiid, Simmons, and don't they have another guy? Can't even remember. I know they do. Oh, well, last year they had Butler. I don't know. The Sixers are kind of the exception. They have championship-winning talent, but they're too much of a mess, I'd say. They don't worry me too much. I'd say they worry me probably second most in the Eastern Conference. I just don't have a lot of respect for the Celtics and the Raptors, and Heat. I do. And part of me says, yeah, they're great, but I just think that they don't have the individual talent to win in the playoffs. So yeah, I think the Lakers are in good shape, better shape. I would love to get, the key to me is Kuzma. And the key to me is, the Lakers talent evaluators decided that apparently to keep Kuzma, not Ingram or Ball. and made him untouchable. Did they make the wrong decision? They clearly did. It should have been Ingram that was the untouchable. But I don't know if they could have made the AD. I don't know if the Pelicans would have said, yeah, give us Kuzma and Ball. I suspect they would have, because you got to remember the narrative going in last season was Ingram was plagued by the blood clots, you know. So the Lakers' talent evaluation looks terrible in that scenario, because why did they not identify that Ingram's the guy with the potential? So I don't know. That really looks bad to me. And then there's a part of it that says, well, LeBron liked Kuzma, and that's why you should never let LeBron run your team to begin with. But I don't know how much truth there is to that, you know. Well, LeBron wanted Kuzma, so that's why Kuzma's there. And so it wouldn't really be the fault of the Lakers' personnel evaluation. I don't know, but, you know, right off the bat, I'm saying there's a big problem with the Lakers' personnel evaluation that nobody's talking about. Nobody's talking about, like, why didn't they keep Ingram and not Kuzma? You know, if you had Ingram, AD, and LeBron, they'd be heavy championship favorites, I think. Anyways, and one other thing I wanted to touch on is I hope we can get somebody, and Darren Collison obviously is a huge key. You really need to get Darren Collison. Now, the whole NBA conspires against LeBron. That's the reason the Lakers can't get Iguodala. Any team in the NBA can get Iguodala, but if the Lakers get him, there's going to be a fan backlash, a huge hate backlash, because most people hate LeBron. The Lakers are like literally not allowed to get Iguodala. The Clippers already have more talent than the Lakers, and they'll be allowed to get Iguodala. Nobody will blink an eye if they get Iguodala. In fact, they'll be happy because it's another chance to beat the Lakers. But the Lakers are pretty much, in my opinion, were not allowed to get Iguodala before. There was no way that was going to happen, because it just wouldn't be allowed by the league and the fans, because LeBron can't get any help, you know. Now, Collison makes it interesting, though, to me in a couple of ways. For one, he makes them they're two good players out there. So now the fans won't be able to deny the Lakers both. You know, when there was just Iguodala, I feel like the fan pressure would have meant there was no way he could get, just like there was pressure for New Orleans not to trade AD to the Lakers, you know. But I feel like with Collison and Iguodala, you kind of got to give the Lakers one, you know. Like the Clippers can't have them both. So to me, that really helps the Lakers that they can get one of the two, which I think the easier one to get is obviously Collison. So that way the Lakers could get Collison, the Clippers could get Iguodala. And, you know, I think that works out much better for the Lakers because the Clippers already have too many players to be on the floor anyway, you know. The Lakers have Green, AD, and LeBron, and that's it. And you add Collison to it, you're helping so much, you know. So, yeah, I really hope they get Collison. And if not Collison, then maybe they have a shot for Iguodala. You know, I hate to be pessimistic, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers snatch up Collison and then Iguodala goes somewhere else and the Lakers get nothing. Hey, if that's what happens, oh well. I'm happy with where we're at in a way. Of course I want to improve huge. Of course I want Collison huge, you know. But I think we got a chance to roll the dice with what we have. Now, also speaking of that, there's one other thing that I kind of noticed that I wanted to touch on, and this is already a 33-minute video, so this will be the final thoughts. But people are underestimating LeBron's ability to turn it on in the playoffs. What did we hear all the time in the Cleveland? You know, you expected LeBron's going to turn it on in the playoffs. But nobody's really, you know, we're just, like I said, the prevailing moves that the Clippers are going to beat the Lakers, which I don't agree with at all. But Clippers are going to beat the Lakers in the playoffs. Clippers are the favorites. You know, Brian Windhorst believes that. Rick Bucher believes that. All these guys believe that. I don't believe that, even as constituted. But I think shoot, I completely lost my train of thought. I completely forgot what I was talking about. Clippers, Lakers, team to beat. I can't remember. Let me try to get my thought back. What was I? Collison. I remember I was on that topic. Boy, if you ever needed proof these videos are unscripted. What was I talking about? Brian Windhorst. Man, this is driving me nuts and I can't get that thought back. What was it? Shoot. Oh, the Clippers are considered dominant over the Lakers, which I don't believe. I remember I was saying that. Oh, LeBron turning it on. Yeah, that's what I was on. Okay. Man, sometimes I just lose my train of thought like that. Yeah, people are selling. Where was the idea that was prevalent a few years ago so much about LeBron's just gonna turn on the? That's what I'm kind of hoping that nobody's talking about or thinking about. Is what if LeBron he's 35, but to me, in my mind, that almost makes it more likely because he's at the point where he can expend a lot of energy and be the old LeBron for shorter periods of time. So what if in like the playoffs and certain high leverage moments in the playoffs, what if he becomes old LeBron, a defensive dervish and everything in the playoffs? I think that the people are not considering that. I think it's likely. Why wouldn't it be likely? So to me, the one thing people, and then he took Cleveland to finals and won a finals with nothing, to be honest. I mean, Kyrie Irving's garbage. Kevin Love you can't even trade Kevin Love. He's not worth a crap. In my opinion, as soon as LeBron left Cleveland, they're an expansion team, People say, oh, he had Kyrie. Kyrie makes every team he's on worse. Look at him, Look at what he's doing in Brooklyn. Look at what he did in Boston. Kevin Love, I don't know if I'd want him free, I don't know if he's a good player. End of sentence. But anyways, oh yeah, but why can't LeBron, now he's got AD at least, and he's got a Danny Green, and he's got a average supporting cast. It's Kuzma, if Kuzma can do anything. So yeah, why can't LeBron turn on these players? And why is everybody just forgetting that used to be a thing a few years ago of LeBron? If LeBron really turns it up a notch in the playoffs, and he's, I think that could be the X factor. Like maybe you look at it, well, the Clippers are better, maybe even the Bucs, but if LeBron goes Superman in the playoffs, that might be an X factor nobody's thinking about, that makes him just dominant, and he's going to just enforce his will to a championship. I think it's very possible and not being looked at. And I had one other thought, I guess, real quick. This video is approaching 40 minutes about Kuzma. I just think Kuzma is the key to this season. So far, I don't like how he's responded, but I did see a positive stat the other day. I think LeBron, AD, you got to have those, but you need a third guy, where Brandon Ingram should be. And to me, Kuzma has not been there, but I will say I did see a very positive stat the other day. Something like the Lakers are I don't know if it's still up to date. It was a couple weeks ago. I don't know what it's looking right now, but basically it was that if the Danny Green, Kuzma, LeBron, and AD on the floor at the same time, the Lakers have a really good net rating, like plus 12 point something. They're really dominant, so that's a good sign, for Kuzma. And the guy making the tweet was saying the Lakers really have a good chance of having a good playoff rotation with those four. And I tweeted back to him something to the effect of, well, yeah, but you need more than 4 guys for a playoff rotation. You need about 8, probably, But I got his point, and it was a very positive point, and I liked it. The Kuzma, Green, LeBron, AD lineup at that time anyway was performing really great. So maybe Kuzma not been so bad after all, but he's not shooting great. He's not a great defender. He's not a great passer. I'm kind of down on Kuzma, but like I say, to me, he's one of the keys of the season for sure. You got to watch Kuzma. You got to hope he develops into a real third threat. I think that's not exactly rocket science or not exactly a hot take there. But yeah, so those are my thoughts, various thoughts on the Lakers. I hope I hit a few points. Just it took me 40 minutes to do it, but the main points I wanted to say were that the people are overrating the Clippers' regular season wins. And if, what are they going to do when the Lakers probably beat the Clippers on January 28th? That LeBron can still turn it on. And I forgot my other points already. I know I touched about 4 of them. So yeah, that's my video.